Hello everyone. Today I will talk about the United States trade and how does China respond it. Many people overestimate the United States bargaining chips in the trade war, believing that as it holds 30% of the global consumer market, it can do whatever it wants. They think that if China does not admit defeat, its foreign trade will be died and even trigger an economic crisis. It sounds quite reasonable, but in fact, it doesn't stand up to security. The United States does indeed account for 30% of the global consumer market. But do you know, although the United States accounts for 30% of the global consumer market, 69% of it is service consumption and only 31% is goods consumption. The actual global share that can be affected by tariffs is only 9.3%, far from the score of 30%. By contrast, China accounts for 13% of the global consumer market, of which 54% is commodity consumption about 7%, and the score has reached 75% of that of the United States. That is to say, the score of commodity consumption of China does have a gap compared with that in the United States. But it is by no means as large as many people imagine. China is the world's second largest economy, with a complete industrial system and a huge consumers market of 1.4 billion people. The potential of domestic demand can partly offset the impact of trade on exports. China has also taken some measures to deal with it. Through the draw circulation strategy, China has stimulated domestic demand and the contribute rate of consumption to economic growth has continued to increase. At the same time, accelerate industrial upgrading and achieve breakthroughs in fields such as new energy and 5G. In response to technological limitation, China has increased its investment in research and development. In 2022, research and development expenditure exceeds 3 trillion yuan, accounting for 2.55% of GDP. However, challenges are still faced in fields such as high-end chips. Meanwhile, China is also constantly diversifying its trade. China activities expands its trade partner, and the trade volume with Asia has nearly doubled in the past. Deepen cooperation with Asia and the European Union through RCEP, the bill and the role initiative to diversify trade risk. At the same time, we pay attention to the reaction of the United States after implementing the trade increase. In the short term, the effect of the U.S. tariff increase is limited. Employees in the steel industry first rose and then fell, and the efficiency of the supply chain decreased. The renegotiation of the USMCA in 2019 forces Canada to open up the dairy market. In the long term, consumers' costs have risen. A study by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York shows that tariffs in 2018 increases the advantage annual expenditure of American households by approximately $830. American bicycle manufacturing were forced to move to Southeast Asia due to tariffs on China, and the diversity time was expanded by 6 months. So tariffs have never been a black and white choice. It may products in certain industry, but make more people foot the bill. In the era of globalization, the challenge faced by policymakers is how to balance short-term interest rate and the long-term competitiveness. In conclusion, imposing tariffs has both advantages and disadvantages, and it's not a way for common development. China needs to balance open cooperation and independent innovation. And the United States should also consider economic growth and the peaceful trade from the open perspective. And thank you for your listening.